All right, so now we're on to solving each compound inequality. We're going to graph it and describe the solution. Okay, so when you're solving these inequalities, it's pretty similar to just solving a regular old equation, okay? The only difference is that when you are multiplying or dividing by a negative, you flip the symbols. Remember, we went over that before, so that's the only difference really. Let's take a look at number 13. So it says 5 is less than 2x plus 3 is less than or equal to 9. So normally if you're just looking at the 2x plus 3 and you want to get x by itself, you're going to subtract 3. So that's what we're going to do. So you're going to subtract 3 on all three sides because there's three sides to our inequality this time because it's a compound inequality. So we just subtract 3 from everything. So 5 minus 3 gives us 2. That's going to be our 2x. Those cancel out. 9 minus 3 is 6. All right, so now we have 2 is less than 2x is less than or equal to 6. So if you were just looking at 2x and you wanted to get x by itself, well, x is being multiplied to 2, so you do the opposite of multiplying, which is dividing. We're going to divide by 2 on all three sides. Then we're going to get 1 is less than. Those cancel out. We get x less than or equal to 3. So we have 1 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 3. All right. Now we need to graph and describe the solution. So it's kind of like our last section. We have the 1 and we have the 3. And we have x in between. It says 1 is less than x. So I'm going to put an empty circle at the 1. Empty because there is no equal to line. Okay. And then we have less than or equal to 3. So less than or equal to, there is an equal to over here. So I'm going to put it like that. Okay. And x is in between. Let's double check. 1 is less than x. That means x is greater than 1. That means we're going to be going that way to the right. We also have that x is less than or equal to 3. So we're going that way to the left. Okay, so yeah, we are shading in between. It's nice to just check. So I'm just going to shade everything in between here. And this would be our answer. So when we are describing the solution, in this particular case, if you see where x is shaded in between, you can call this a conjunction. Remember the word conjunction from our last day. Conjunction is when it's connected. So we have two numbers and they're connected. This is a conjunction. Okay? All right, remember if you have any questions, call me over. Let's take a look at number 14. Negative 5 is less than x minus 4 is less than or equal to 6. So to get x by itself, we simply have to add 4. Add 4 to all sides. Negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1. We bring down the x. That cancels out. 6 plus 4 is 10. So we have our negative 1 and we have our 10. Okay, let's see. Is this going to be a conjunction as well? Let's take a look. We have negative 1 is less than x, so I'm going to put an empty circle at negative 1 because there's no equal to line. And if negative 1 is less than x, that means x is greater than negative 1. We shade to the right. Let's take a look at over here. X is less than or equal to 10. I'm going to put a filled in circle at the 10 because there's an equal to line. So if there's an equal to line, I will put a filled in circle. It says x is less than or equal to, so I'm going to shade to the left. And as you can see, it looks like we need to be shading in everything in between. Sorry, it looks really messy, but I don't care if yours looks messy too. So hopefully you don't care if mine looks kind of messy. This is a conjunction as well. Remember, conjunction is when you are connecting the two numbers in between. You're filling in everything in between. You're shading everything in between. These are conjunctions. All right, let's go to number 15. X plus 4 is greater than 6 or negative 3x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 9. So there's an or here. So let's take a look and see what this gives us. We have two things to solve. We have x plus 4 is greater than 6, so let's deal with this piece first. We're going to subtract 4 on both sides. Cancels out. We get x is greater than 2. or now we must solve this inequality. So to solve for this inequality, we're going to add 2. That cancels those out. We get negative 3x is greater than or equal to 11. Then we're going to divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. They cancel out. X, remember, we divided by a negative. We're going to have to flip the symbol. X is less than or equal to negative 11 over 3. If you are uncomfortable with the fraction, you may take out a calculator and see what 11 divided by 3 is. So this would be x is less than or equal to negative 3.6 repeating. That way, that might help you place it on the number line. So we have the number 2 and negative 3.6. This is the negative 3.6. And then we have x is greater than 2. I'm going to mark these in different colors. For x is greater than 2, I shall put an empty circle at 2. Empty because there is no equal to line. And shading to the right because it is greater than. For this piece, the x is less than or equal to negative 3.6. I shall put a filled in circle. Filled in because there is an equal to line. And then I shall shade it to the left because x is less than that number. So notice the difference between numbers 14 and 15. 14 you shade it in between, that is a conjunction. 15 you are shading on opposite ends, this is a disjunction. Okay, so when it goes like that, it's like the opposite of cross-eyed. If it's going to the opposite directions, this is a disjunction. All right, remember, if you have any questions, please let me know. But let's go on to number 16. We have 2 things to solve once again. We first have the negative x plus 11 is greater than or equal to 6. I'm going to subtract 11 from both sides. We get negative x, those cancel out, is greater than or equal to negative 5. Okay, so we have a negative x. To get rid of that, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1. Negative x times negative 1 is positive x. Negative 5 times negative 1 is positive 5. And oh look, we multiplied by a negative. That means I need to flip my symbol. So instead of greater than or equal to, now it's less than or equal to. Okay, so they gave us the word or, so I'm going to keep the word or here. Let's solve the other one. We have 2x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 9. So I need to add 5. Ooh, I don't know why I did that. Okay, so we added 5, cancels out. We get 2x is greater than or equal to 14. And then x is being multiplied by 2, so I'm going to divide by 2. Those cancel out. We get x is greater than or equal to 7. Let's plot our answers. 5, 7. All right, let's do x is less than or equal to 5. So I see the equal to line, filled in circle. Less than, go to the left. All right, x is greater than or equal to 7. I see the equal to line, fill in your circle. Fill it in. Sorry, that sounded so aggressive. Fill in your circle. You got to do it because you see the equal to line. X is greater than 7, so you shade it to the right. And as you can see, they are shaded in opposite directions, so this is a disjunction. Okay? Now, for your homework, you have to do parts E and F. Part E is 1 through 8, part F is 1 through 6. When you scroll down, don't do that one, you did it last time. E and F. So your task is to do those. If you have any questions, please call me over so that I can help you out. Other than that, I'll see you later.